Good morning, Hope family, and welcome to another edition of our daily devotion. And this morning, I'll be leading us through Psalm 9. We'll be just focusing on three verses, verses 7 to 10. Let me read it for us. The Lord reigns forever. He has established his throne for judgment. He rules the world in righteousness and judges the peoples with equity. The Lord is a refuge for the oppressed, a stronghold in times of trouble. Those who know your name trust in you, for you, Lord, have never forsaken those who seek you. And in those words, those three verses, I really want us to consider and look and just focus on three things, aspects that we hear about from the psalmist about God. The first thing that we say that the Lord is the one saying the Lord reigns forever, and that reign that is expressed in two ways. That He's the one, as verse said, He rules and He judges. And His rule says He rules the world in righteousness and judges the peoples with equity, with fairness, impartiality. And I was thinking about that way, saying, we're at a time where people even questioning even this reign, that if God is really there, if God is if He's there, is it really good? How can all these things be happening? All this coronavirus happening around us. But here David tells us something about God. He says God, the way that God rules the world, that He is righteous. That David does not question. And David, you can think about, he lived in times where, even in this psalm, that his world, his experiences, many things seems unfair. He's going through a tough time. That he has many enemies that surround him. Yet in that time, in the experiences that he's going through, he doesn't question this. That God, you're the one who reigns, you're the one who rules, and the way you rule, that Lord, you are righteous. Not only that, saying that you're the one who judges. And many of us now, the thing I find it interesting now time, that many of us are actually the ones who are sitting on judgment, and we are judging God. So where are you when all is happening? How can you let this happen? But yet too, they're saying that to David, that God, the way that God judges peoples, that judges us humans, He judges the way that is fair. And to David saying that God is the one that is unseated on the throne. He is the one who is doing the judging, not us. And yet in His way, the way that He judged, that we can have confidence in it, that God is the one who is fair in His judgment. Second thing I want us to look, saying that the idea that you see in verse 9, that the Lord is our refuge. So verse 9 reads, the Lord is a refuge for the oppressed, a stronghold in times of trouble. That to David, he understands, saying that in all the trouble that is going through, we're saying God is the place where he can run to for safety. Saying is his stronghold, is a place where everything, many places that seem unsafe, that is in danger, but when it goes to God, there he is completely safe. And even now, I'm saying, I went out for the first time in this lockdown to do some shopping this morning, and and you're going out there, and you're scared. Everyone's wearing masks, gloves, you're sanitizing everything. We are scared because you don't know what to. You can turn left, right. You can touch something, and that could be you can get infected. So it feels as if it's hard to figure out which place is safe now. Yet to David's mind, that in all the trouble, that he knows that in a place where if he wants to find safety, God is a person that he runs to for that he is the place of refuge. And I'm saying for us, even as this morning, that we can take that if you are scared. And not only that, saying we're of just a virus, and God will, when God judges, not going to judge us according to this virus, but it's going to judge us even according to how we have lived the rest of our life. That have we trusted in His Son Jesus, or we haven't. But whatever trouble that we have, whether we are trouble from Him, or we're trouble in anything that we find in this world, like this coronavirus or enemy, saying God is the place of safety, is the place that we can run to for refuge, our stronghold. Third thing that David tells us about God in verse 10, it says, those who know your name trust in you. Saying that God is the person that we can trust. That we may not know what is going on, but if if you know God, you can completely trust Him, that He will protect you, that He has the best interest for you, that He cares for you. And anyone saying can know God, is saying how do you know God? If we have trusted and believed in Jesus, then we can have confidence in that we know God and He knows us. And those who know God, the psalmist tells us, we can relax and trust God in whatever situation. All these tags you've seen with the t-shirts or stickers that says keep calm and trust God, and which many saying is like that's too simplistic, but it is true that in all the trouble that we have, that if you know God, that means that we can trust God with our life, we can trust God with this pandemic, because we know that God is the one who is reigning, He's the one who is in charge. And the reason that David can have that, look at the second part of verse 10, it says, for you, Lord, have never forsaken those who seek you. So David can be sure about that because he can look at God's track record. Maybe saying for himself, in his interaction with God, or even the history of his ancestors, that God has been faithful, has been trustworthy, is the one that has come true. And so he can be sure that God will come true for him in this equation. And that is the trust that we can have. Hence, he can trust God that much, even us, that God has not failed us. And if you have believed in Him, that you can trust God with your life now, that you can trust God with your future. Because saying that He is the one who is in charge, He's the one that is righteous, and He's the one that will judge. So I hope that you are encouraged this morning and you remind yourself of those three things about God. Amen.